Testing, testing. Hello and welcome to Clearcast Training. My name is Michael Hayden. I am the training manager at Clearcast. I'm going to be hosting today's session. I hope you're keeping safe and well. If it's your first time on a Clearcast training webinar, then where have you been? We do lots of courses. We do stuff right for people brand new to the process, to also people that are much more experienced as well. So today we are, of course, talking about getting ready for clearance in the library platform. So we've got a 30-minute session today, and I am very pleased to be joined by my colleague, Mark. Do you want to say hi?
Good morning, guys. Hope you are all well. Mark operations, so I oversee everything that comes through the Clearcast unit.
Cool. Thanks, Mark. So I imagine the first question everyone has, and actually I've already seen it pop up in the Q&A already, is will the session today be recorded? And I'm pleased to say, yes, it is being recorded. So today's session is being recorded and we will share it with all registered delegates afterwards. I envisage that it will be in the next week, possibly early next week. We'll send you a copy of the recording. And what I mean by registered delegates, if you may have a colleague, for example, who registered but couldn't attend today, they will still be sent a copy of the recording. So what's the format for today for the next 30 minutes or so? So let me just quickly show you how to do this. I want to encourage as many questions as possible. Mark and I delivered one of these sessions a few weeks ago now, and we had about 150 or so questions. So I'd really like to try and beat that number today. If we can get kind of closer to 200 questions, that would be brilliant. So the way you do that, the chat is disabled, but you go onto the Q&A, type your question in, drop it through, and it populates from Mark and I. And what we will do is we will stop. So we'll stop halfway through the session today and we'll take some questions, and then we'll stop at the end and take some more questions as well. And I'll try and group them into different themes so you see the various issues. Well, realistically, we won't be able to answer every single question, but they're still going to be really helpful to Mark and I, because afterwards we can go back and we can collate the various topics, and it can help us build future FAQs, which will be available via our help desk on our website as well. So please, please, please do ask questions as you think of them. Drop them in, and we'll make sure we get through as many as we possibly can in the next 35 minutes or so. Okay, what else do you need to know? So as well as the questions, I wanted to share a couple of slides right at the outset before I hand over to Mark, because the bulk of today's session is going to be actually showing you the platform. But, we all know that sometimes change can be, quite scary. So I wanted to kind of flesh out some of the parameters and scope and context for what is actually changing, because I'm kind of calling this bit kind of a bit back to the future, because in the future, later this year, we are essentially going back to what we used to do, which is have one clearance platform. So prior to last year, we had Copy Central, which was the clearance platform for stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. So only since March last year have we had Clearcast Library and this dual platform approach. So that's, we had Copy Central for over a decade. So all we're doing is reverting back to the previous status quo, which is to have one platform, so one kind of clearance umbrella for stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Nothing else is essentially changing. It's still going to be the 3 stages. You're still going to have the same contact. So in the previous webinar, we had quite a few questions saying, is my executive going to change? The contacts are going to stay the same. The point of what's changing is just really where you're dropping the file. So where you're dropping the script and where you're dropping the rough cut. So because stage 3 is not changing, and that's staying on the library, we're not going to focus on stage 3 today. We're going to focus on stage 1 and stage 2, so script and rough cut via the library workflows. So let me show you a quick run order. So just you've got an idea of the way the next 30 minutes will go. At the start, it's all about access, so how you actually get onto the platform and navigate the MFA. It's then about uploading your script and your substantiation. And I really think you'll be pleased with it, because for me, it just seemed incredibly straightforward. But it's script and it's substantiation, then it's going to be the rough cut. And as always in our training sessions, we try and throw as many bits of best practice advice, tips as we can. So ask the questions. Like I say, we'll pause halfway through and at the end and try and get through as many questions as we can. But I don't want to waste too much time now, because I want to hand over to Mark, so Mark can actually get into the demo part, so we can look at the platform in its current state. Mark, are you able to
Yes, I am.
Take the reins.
Right, okay. So now I've shared my screen with yourselves. So now I've shared your screen. I just want to say good morning and get you into the library and to show you the process. Best practice, really, to be honest. If you haven't got an account already, you can simply self-register by just simply clicking on create an account, fill out the information, and then register. Simple as, really, to be fair. Once you've got an account, you can simply start to log in. You'll go to continue with your email. It'll ask you for a password. Simply sign in. And what this platform does, it has a MFA. So you'll need a mobile app, or you can use your laptop or computer. All you need to do is download an app.
Mark, your sound's cut off, Mark. I don't know if you there, Mark? I can't hear you. Mark, is your recording working? Mark, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
One sec.
Sorry. I wasn't sure if you could hear me or not.
Can you hear me now? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, no worries. So, okay, so let me just, I don't know where I got to, but I'll go back and just simply say, like, again, so if you haven't got an account, you can simply create an account via the platform. You can do that by simply just sign in, register, fill out your information, and then register. That's quite straightforward. Once you've got an account, you'll get an email from us. Just click on the link. That will take you to a sign-in page. Simply sign in, use your username and password, signing in. That will take you to MFA. Now, as I said, MFA, you can use multiple different apps to download. So if you use Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, any one of those is fine. You just simply download the app, scan the barcode, and then simply gives you a 6-digit code. You enter those codes into here, you verify, and you're into the platform. Now, this platform lands you directly straight onto the dashboard. The dashboard is your overview page, so you can quickly navigate to your latest material that's been created in the platform. And for clearance especially, you're going to be mostly concerned the areas of materials and campaigns within that particular platform. So they're your main key areas. Now, from our perspective, what I want to do is just show you the quick process of creating a script submission. And to do that, you need to create a campaign. Obviously, this is my test environment. I've created a few campaigns recently. But basically, what I want to do is show you the best practice to creating a campaign and then getting your script into the platform as quickly and as efficiently as possible. What I would suggest about campaigns are key because it allows you to keep consistency across all your associated materials. So the idea of a campaign is to attach your script, your rough cut, and your final TVC in one place. So it allows a history and related materials to link between. So that's kind of the idea behind a campaign. And obviously you may have multiple submissions. So if you're doing like film trailers or Tesco's or anything like that that's food related, you can add that to the same campaign. You don't need to create a campaign for every single one. If they're very similar, you can add that to the same campaign. You don't have to keep creating a new campaign. In this particular instance, we're going to show you how to create a simple campaign. So in this one, we'll just do test today, and then we'll move on. Selecting the type. Owning team, obviously, if you guys work with different teams, so you're collaborating with different accounts, so you've got a Tesco account and an Asda's account, you can split the work between those so they only see what they need to see, and you can do that via owning teams. Very similar to the process that we currently have in Copy Central. We then just ask you simply to add your agency, your advertiser, and the product, and then obviously, as you know, when you register with Clearcast, we give you the first 3 characters of your prefix. That is also set as standard. Pressing create creates that campaign. That's it. That's creating a campaign. All you need to do now is create your material. Clicking on material, you can select the stage that you're at. Now, the best practice is always to start at stage 1, which is your script. You have your rough cut at stage 2 and your final TVC. Script and rough cut aren't mandatory, so you can go straight directly into final TVC. But again, if you want to go for the best practice and to make sure you don't have no problems when you finally submit your final graded version, then I would suggest probably going to start at stage 1 and stage 2. Selecting the stage, simply fill out the information and drag and drop your script into the box. Simply create, and that's created your script submission. Now all we need to do is fill out the metadata that were required. Now, from your perspective here, these fields will look very familiar. We've tried to keep the process that those that have already currently used the library, we've kept the process very similar. So these fields will be similar to that as the final TVC. If you don't have this information, it doesn't matter. The rough cut and script process, these fields are not mandatory. The only one that's mandatory currently is the category. Yeah, so we categorize the information. If you have this information, great, the earlier the better. If you don't worry about it. Just simply submit. Once that's submitted, that's gone to Clearcast for the copy team. So that's basically it. You've gone into that, you've created your script, you've attached it, you filled out the metadata, that's create the script. That's now with the Clearcast account manager within the platform. Now, what you can do from this particular stage, and I think there's key elements here, is you have the submission details. So you have an overview of the details that's actually you've entered and the information that you've entered. Feedback, which is a key area. As you know, this is how you communicate with your account manager, how you provide and update information, any claim support and stuff like that in the sort of that you're backing up. That's the area where you need to communicate. And again, simply entering information and pressing send sends the message to your account manager within Clearcast. Clearance is a new word that we've used. We normally call it final action in Copy Central, but the word is clearance now. And basically what that allows is you will see here and populate the script restrictions and obviously the final action that the script's been given by the account manager. Another important area for yourselves is the files. This is where you can add and attach substantiation. Yeah, so basically selecting substantiation, selecting the category that you're making the claim, and just simply drag and drop your sub file in there. You can only do one at a time. So those that are familiar with the Copy Central process, they're exactly the same. But again, it's quite quick to just simply select, same, sort of put down the text that you're what you're actually putting on, and then simply drag and drop your substantiation into this particular folder. What that does is, again, it provides you all the file information in one area. And obviously in the feedback tab, you will see here, because it's easy to communicate and you can see what you've done when you're talking about certain things, i.e. claim support, it also appears in the feedback section. So you guys can also see that and view that as you see fit. And what we have here is related materials. When you start going through the process of stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3, this will start to populate and give you a good history link between your rough cuts, your scripts, and your final TVCs. You have the capability of editing your script, and you also have the ability to deleting your script at this particular stage. And the status of said submission is currently Clearcast pending, clearance pending. So that means that's currently in the workflow of the Clearcast account manager. And that's it. That's how you create a script into the library for clearance.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for that, Mark. We've got quite a few questions already, so I can try and group them, and we can try and do these kind of quick fire as well and get through them, if that'd be great. So the first ones I'm trying to group in relation to the MFA. Someone said, have you got an app preference for the MFA? Where do you go if you get stuck? And does it remember you? If you can answer those three, that'd be great.
I can do indeed. So the answer is we have no preference. It depends on whatever mobile phone device or mobile app you're using. We do recommend probably, I would say Google or Microsoft, because they're the most common. It remembers you for 30 days, so you only need to do it once you log in. It has a little tick button that says remember me. It remembers you for 30 days. So once you've done that on your computer or your laptop, that will remember you for 30 days. But please do not click that if you're using someone else's laptop. Yeah, so just for security reasons, make sure you don't remember to click that. And what was the other question, Michael? Sorry.
Where do you go if you get stuck?
If you get stuck, always just contact us at help at clearcast.co.uk as an email address. But we also have a help site that has all the information that you possibly need in terms of Clearcast help desk. So again, if you need help, help.clearcast.co.uk, or just email us. Yeah. So any particular questions, any concerns, then you know our contact information.
Okay. Next question is about it's about registering. Do you need to re-register if you are already using the library for TVCs?
No, you do not need to re-register. Your account will just remain the same. What you will see when we switch over to the library, you will just have a new interface where you'll be able to make, instead of final TVCs, you'll be able to then create your rough cuts and your scripts.
When will this change occur? When will the platform be live?
We are looking for this in summer this year.
Will there be a period of both systems running, or will it be switching from Copy Central to the library?
We've not done a full plan out yet. We're in the process of doing that, but what we'll probably do is do a properly complete switch over, so there won't be a parallel path.
Yeah, because I've got the same question a few times about whether Copy Central will be read only afterwards, but that's certainly not the intention at the moment, is it?
Is not the intention. What we plan to do is migrate at least 5 years worth of data across from this platform, from Copy Central into this library for you guys. So you have historic, and obviously for us, it's very key in terms of looking back over things and judgments that we've made and discussion points. So that's at least 5 years worth of data coming into our platform.
Someone has said, please, please, please tell me this is mobile friendly.
It is mobile friendly. You can do everything from here. So you can get notifications, you'll get emails, you'll get a mobile friendly. You can create submissions. You can look at feedback that's been left on the go. So yes, it is mobile friendly.
Someone said, are we able to reassign the owning team after a campaign has been created?
Not at present. You guys will not be able to change the association. No. So the assignee will be obviously your Clearcast account manager. This is my test environment. So what that would generally do is once you've created something, that will automatically assign to your account manager.
Someone said, what should I do if it says the clock number has already been taken? Sky Local had used it on a previous campaign, so I wasn't able to upload then.
Then contact the help desk and we will help you along that way.
If we are registering individually, how do we make sure to keep consistency and have visibility of all submissions for our company? Is there a way we can connect our accounts under one master account?
So you will have, again, it's very similar to the way the Copy Central platform works. So you will have you can have super users built within the platform. So super users can take full control of your said company. You can separate those into teams. So again, you'll see that. But as a individual from a company, if you're just got a default team, you will see everything within the platform. So everything that gets created within your team or within your company will be viewable by all.
Can we use one campaign per brand, or should we use a separate campaign to be set up for each spot?
I would use for particularly per brand. But what I would suggest about creating a campaign is again, is key, especially if you're using relevant information or you're making claims that you made before, then you should stick those into the same campaigns, because it means that the association, the history is all in one place. If you try to create different campaigns, then they'll be all sort of within the system and you'll have to search. So the idea around creating a campaign is to have everything in one place, but everything that's related in one place. So if it's a different ad, different claims, different support, then create a new campaign.
Someone has said, is there no more return to Clearcast button?
There is no more return to Clearcast button.
Someone said, does your current Copy Central login work on the library, or do you need a new account?
You would need a new account, so please register.
Okay, I think we should continue, Mark, with the demo, and we'll come back to more questions afterwards.
Okay, so you saw me there just creating the script quite quickly. And what you can do is we got this thing right at the top of the screen here. We call it breadcrumbs, and you can quickly navigate back and forth from submission to your campaign. So if I click back on this test day, that takes me back to the whole campaign. It gives me a quick overview of a status, so you can quickly see what's been complete, what needs to be looked at, and what needs to be solved. So you can sort of quickly use the breadcrumbs there. What I want to show you now quickly is just creating a rough cut. And again, I will say the process is very, very similar. Creating a material, again, same process. Selecting a rough cut. it will ask you some information. It will ask you the duration. Intentionally quiet, again, it's just checking the levels. So if you do actually create an ad that's below the levels, just indicate that it's quiet. AD, again, if you're making sure your content is AD description, then again, please let us know just by toggling on. Obviously, in this particular instance, this platform requires Clearcast content needs to be cleared. So yes, in this particular instance, pressing create. You have the ability to clone, as we call it, or make a new copy. So you can copy all the information from an existing submission. By doing that, it shows me what submission I have, which is great and handy. So if you do multiple ads, you can simply copy all the information across. In this instance, if I just copy the script information across and go continue, you will see that obviously I didn't enter none of the data, but it did copy across the product category. Again, at rough cut stage, if you have this information, again, please fill it in. That'd be helpful. If you don't worry about it. You can then, I think we used to go with previous submission ID. You can also show a link. So if you've created multiple submissions, you can show related submissions. So again, creating that link. So if you've had claims approved from a script stage and you're moving those into your rough cut stage, the linkage there is really helpful for us, obviously internally, but also for your own records. Pressing submit, that's created my submission. All I now need to do is just drag and drop my video in. What we have done is we've created a new MP4 format for you guys, because obviously we know that the library currently accepts obviously 4 different high res files. We've created an MP4 version. We will share those specs with you, but what that means is it's a HD version, but obviously it's a smaller file which you can quickly upload and drop straight into your material. Once that's gone across, you can see it's performing QC. Rough cut stage, we don't have we have a QC process, so we check the format, we check the duration, and obviously for flashing, we check for that as well. That'll take probably about 2 or 3 minutes to physically go through. But again, from your perspective, it's seeing the submission information that you've entered. You can now see the feedback. Again, it's the same as the rough cut. So communication via the feedback tab. Again, you have easy access to seeing the videos that you uploaded and attached. The clearance information, again, you will see the restrictions, presentations, and obviously the final actions that have been placed. And again, a key element is your files. So again, if you're making claims and you want to upload more substantiation, you can do so by just simply selecting the category, selecting a comment to what it relates to, and just simply drag and drop your sub information into the box, pressing submit. And then obviously related materials. So again, it just shows you the history of the script in that particular instance. So again, it's QC process. It'll take a couple of minutes. So what I would do is if I go to a campaign that I created earlier and just share to you. So as you can see, I've got a campaign here and I'll just show you what it looks like once it's formally gone through the formal QC process. You will see here, it's gone perfectly through. You will then see a flash insert that's available to yourselves. You will also see the QC status and the submission status. So basically, obviously, as you're aware, once a rough cut's been uploaded, that goes into QC check. Once the QC check, that goes over to the ingest team. The ingest will do their ingest checks. It will go to the operations, and then it will go over into the Clearcast clearance team for the clearance process. But again, what you can see in here, you can see again the QC process and everything you physically need to know about a rough cut. If it does fail on any particular, so for instance, the file doesn't meet the standard spec, the system will tell you. Again, it will send you an email and a notification. It does give you notifications in app as well, so you get notifications as a bell, as you see in the top right hand corner here. But it also sends you emails if that's more convenient to yourselves. And again, anyone within a team will get those emails. So if you do go away on holiday and normally you're picking up someone else's work, you will be now notified of those comments that are being left, and obviously any failures on a particular video file. So that's kind of key, because we know not everyone works full time. So you have those kind of cover periods, and what this platform now allows us to do is obviously contact others within your team rather than just a single owner. And that's it. So once you've done that, you've dropped your file in, that will go into the ingest team. The key areas for yourself is obviously going to be the feedback tab. That's where you communicate with your ClearCast team. They will also communicate via this tab as very similar to that of the Copy Central platform. And again, that's going to be key area, and obviously your files to upload any claim support that you're physically making during this platform. And that's how you physically create a rough cut file. If I just quickly go over a final TVC, the process for final TVC hasn't changed. The final TVC process hasn't changed. So again, let me just show you what a final TVC will look like. A final TVC, again, will have a stronger QC or a longer QC, because we're checking for the broadcast masters. So we check for the audio, we check for the slate, and again, the same fields are available to yourself. You see the submission information that's available. You see the feedback tab. So again, as in the script and the rough cut, the feedback is where you'll be spending a lot of your time in communication with your account manager. Again, you will see the clearance information that's available to yourself. Again, the files, and obviously the related materials. If I just take you back to the campaign layout page, you'll see again from this particular scenario, you will see here you have your campaign overview, and then obviously you have I would say a complete campaign. You have two views. So you have a default view and you have the clearance view. I would suggest that the clearance view is going to be very helpful to yourselves, because from the clearance view, you can then see the material status. So you can see whether the full QC process has taken place, and you can see the submission status. So where it lies within the ClearCast workflow. If I go back to my original campaign here, the one I created earlier, and I will show you quickly how your campaign over time will start to look. You will see, people upload an incorrect error. You will see uploading. You will see complete, final action, clearances pending, final action, content with operations. So again, those kind of standard statuses within what you're used to within Copy Central is very just pulled across into the library. And that will be your clearance homepage. I just want to quickly click on materials, because the materials is like the history of everything that you've created in the library. And what we've done is we've given you, again, when you land on materials, you have the ability to look at your default view or your clearance view. And again, this will show you the history of all the content that's been created within the platform. You can then you can search by using whatever parameters you want to do, but we've also given you the advanced search. Now the advanced search is brilliant, really, to be fair. What it allows you to do is it allows you to find your rough cuts, your scripts, and your final TVCs. It also allows you, if you've used Fast Track on or standard services, you can have particularly find that you can find those times. You do clock, you can do duration. This platform gives you the capability to nail down exactly what you're looking for from past and to present. So again, we've given you those stronger search capabilities when trying to find content within the platform. And I think that's probably about right, how you create your scripts and your rough cuts and your submission into our clearance platform.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Mark. We have got lots of questions. So if it's okay, same as last time, it's okay if I go quick fire and try and get through as many as we can?
Yeah, go on. Of course we can.
Thank you. Right. Okay, brilliant. Can we still search by submission number?
Yes, you will be. Yes, indeed.
Will the help button go to a live chat?
I'm looking at that now. To come.
After you have uploaded the final file and it is cleared, do you still need to wait for the final clearance from Copy Central as before?
No, you won't. No, once we move across to this platform, everything internally will be within the library, and the clearance information will come through to you. So from this particular stage, you will see final action. If I went into a particular final action version here, you will get notifications in the platform, and you'll also be notification via email.
Someone said, how can they differentiate between their scripts and rough cuts and TVCs when it's all on the same page?
When it's all on the same page, so in this particular instance, what you can do, you can use the search capabilities. So if you went to a particular campaign, you can then filter down your scripts and your rough cuts. What we have is we have identifications. So a script is going to be a piece of paper, final TVC will be a video, and if I got a rough cut, you can quickly see there what a rough cut looks like with a little video camera and a piece of paper.
Just to double check, will everyone in our team be emailed with every comment made on a submission?
Anyone in a particular team will be notified, yes, when feedback's been left.
Someone said, sorry, I might have missed it. Why do rough cuts now need to go through QC checks?
QC is about just making sure that the file is to the certain standard, so we can then able to check for supers, and we can ably check for flashing. Copy Central does that at the moment. It's called transcoding. So obviously, as you're aware, you will probably be notification where you get transcoded error messages in Copy Central. What we've allowed is this new MP4 allows progressive files and top field first files. So those emails that you used to get about transcode errors, hopefully, will be eliminated.
Someone's asked, well, several people have asked about the parent and child submissions and how that will work.
Parent and child, so it works exactly the same way. So you then obviously, once you create a first individual, you create the second, and you can copy it across, so you can clone them, so to speak. It copies all the information across, and you can just keep going. So if you've got like 10, 20 ads, you just create one, then you can clone the other. The only time you have to do that is enter in a particular different clock number into the field.
If you've already provided substantiation at script stage, do you need to re-upload for rough cut or final TVC?
No, you do not. No. As long as as long as you're doing it under the same campaign, then the content there is linked.
Will there be a step-by-step guide available for the ClearCast submission?
Yes. So what we've done is we've created some videos for yourselves. So we will show you and share those with you, and we also have user guides that you guys can read through. Yes, indeed.
And some people ask again about the specs, the file specs. That's all going to be available on the help site as well, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. So the MP4 will be shared with yourselves. It's very similar, but just very smaller. So it means that you can quickly drag and drop it in.
A few people asked about flashing, and if it fails flashing at rough cut stage, we've been notified exactly where it fails.
You should be, as you can see there, at the moment you get a cert. So when content does fail, you should be able to see that.
A few people have asked about the interlacing and progressive file formats.
Again, so for final TVC, the file formats haven't changed, but obviously in Copy Central, where you upload a lower res file, it doesn't like the scan type of progressive, but the new MP4 format accepts that, and that's fine.
Someone's asked about the clock numbers being inputted at the script stage. Do they need to add them at that stage, or can it wait until final submission, please?
Final submission is the only place you need to add your clock number.
Okay. I think there's a lot of questions on stuff we've already covered. Just to recap, if you're joining it now or have joined it late, we are recording today's session, and we will be available to everyone that's registered for today's session. The switchover date is still planned to be summer 2024. We are planning to migrate 5 years worth of data from Copy Central. Copy Central will no longer be available. If you are already registered on the library, you don't need to re-register. Quite a few questions are talking about this return to ClearCast button again, and saying that because the return to ClearCast button is no longer going to be in place, does that mean as soon as they place their feedback on here and send it through, it automatically goes to their contact, Mark?
At the moment, when it's assigned to yourself, so from an agency perspective, once let me see if I can quickly go to one that is awaiting upload. So when you leave feedback, the return to ClearCast, you've got an assignee down here. So basically what you will have is you will have a drop down of your exec. You just simply enter the information and press send, and that goes straight back to your account manager. There's no return to ClearCast anymore.
Is the flashing test overly cautious, or is it aligned to the hardening test?
It's aligned to the hardening test.
Any chance of the media encoder file format data on help, not just Apple encoder?
Leave that with me. I'll add that to my list.
Does the rough cut file need to be clocked to only the final TVC?
Only the final TVC, please.
When clicking a submission in the reference link bit, can I choose a submission link from a different past campaign or only previous submissions within the same campaign?
So only within the same campaign. That's what I'm saying about the relevance. So if you're doing across campaigns, then you won't be able to link those. So if you've got very similar content, it's best to place it into one single campaign.
Just to double check, the rough cut submission, can this just be a rough animatic rather than a low res ad?
Well, animatic is kind of, it depends on the kind of quality that you're uploading. If your animatic has been converted to the MP4 format, then yes. If not, we would probably treat that as a reference file. Therefore, we would expect that to be attached to the script stage.
Someone said the last updated column is also not available in the current library format. Will this be rolled out later too? Very excited about this edition.
The answer to the question is yes. Obviously, what you're seeing here is the MVP. So in times to come, you will see that that information, or what you see here, will be available to yourselves.
Okay, people have asked about it being mobile friendly, and that obviously is the case, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes.
A few people have said, can they get ahead of the game and sign up to it now?
I'm afraid not right now at the moment. We probably will be looking, like I said, in the summer, and we'll reach out to, I'm assuming we will do some beta agencies as well. But at the moment, we will give you an update on future release.
Someone just mentioned again about the how much data we're copying across in 5 years. So how about previous outside of the 5 years, and why have we chosen 5 years?
5 years is a standard for us. You know, we've never really purged anything in our Copy Central platform, so we go back around about 20 years. We do keep a record of all clocks that's been created. So from our perspective, we will have a lot more data than yourselves, but for yourselves, it's 5 years worth of data.
When you return comments to your executive, if they are on holiday and there is cover, will it go to the correct contact?
It will do indeed. So obviously behind the scenes, we now have a portfolio rules, as we call them, that can allocate content directly to different users.
Can you still go into an old submission that's cleared and click new copy to clone all the info? Can we still do that on this system?
You cannot do that currently on this system, no.
Are stations aware of this change? Do they have access to the library to see submissions? Will they receive any training on this?
So the stations, did you say? The broadcasters?
Yeah.
The broadcasters have access to this platform already, but obviously their views are slightly different to, say, the agency views. So obviously they can see all cleared content that's been cleared.
Okay, brilliant. I think we'll probably call it a day there. We've actually had over 200 questions, so thank you for everyone that listened to me and posed a question today, because we're trying to get through as many as we can. But like I said at the start of today's session, we will use all of these questions. So anything you've given us, we will use it, because we are going to go away and collate it all together and build it into a more comprehensive FAQ, which will be available via our website. So this really helps us in understanding the pressure points that people want to find out more information on. So for me, it's just a big thank you for everyone for attending and for interacting with us today. Mark, have you got anything else you want to share?
No, I've got nothing to share. But again, if you need any help or have any questions, you can email the help desk and we will sort of help you along the way. Like I said, we will create the FAQ sheets, and they will obviously be available on our help site as well. So thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Cheers. Goodbye.